Marysville Roundtable, a discussion on current events, sports, and entertainment.
Welcome to M6 Student Connections. Today I will be interviewing a very special guest with me, my father, Ben Fletcher, and we will be talking about his business, Artelligence. So, how did you come up with Artelligence?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. Artelligence, I came up with the idea. I was actually just sitting down in the basement, bored out of my mind, looking at the walls, and I thought, I need something to go up there. Well, I had just gotten some comics, and I was going through the book of them, and I saw some of the covers on them, thinking, you know what, these actually look kind of cool. So I actually took a few random comics, threw them into a poster that I had, kind of like one of the ones up here front, and just kind of staged them out, went out and picked up a few more that were a little like it, and I framed it up, and I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. Then kept going through the comics, and I found another one that had a really neat cover. Well, I flipped it open on the inside, and I saw the artwork on the inside, and I thought, wow, this artwork is amazing. It's really, really cool. I thought, man, there's be just a really neat, if there's a way that I could actually get this artwork out of here and actually stage it up, make it look good and make it look presentable, I thought maybe I got something here. So took the comic apart, staged it out together, put that cover right front and center, and looked at it. I thought, wow, I might be onto something here. So I did a few more of them, started showing a few people, and the next thing you know, I was off and running.
So when you came up with the idea originally, did you ever take any inspiration from your childhood?
Oh, absolutely. I've always been into comics ever since I was a kid, and that's really where the idea kind of stemmed from. Absolutely I loved the storylines, but there was always something about the artwork inside comics that you really don't see it anywhere else. And whether it's Marvel, DC, some of the independents like Image and stuff like that, there's a ton of different artists that work on these things. So there's such a wide range of different type of art styles in them, and it's always captivated me. And so that's where I really kind of started drawing my initial inspiration from.
So we know the background and the story behind these lovely pieces of artwork. So under Artelligence, what do you make? Is it just these, or do you make some more stuff?
Well, I did start off with comics, and as I started, and quite honestly, comics were a little bit easier. There's not as many pages you have to look at. They're usually connected by a staple, so it made it a little bit easier taking them apart. But as I started getting a little more confident with it, I started getting into some of the thicker graphic novels. And then as I start doing these things, I'm thinking, well, what other type of illustrated books are out there? So I started doing a few of the kids' books, and I have Where the Wild Things Are out in the front, one of my favorites. And as I started doing some of those and started showing some people, they really started taking a really big interest in the kids' books. But basically any illustrated book that I can find, I did an encyclopedia of aircrafts from 1942. 400 pages, not easy to go through, but it ended up being a really cool piece. Bands, movies, a lot of groups and a lot of movies actually have illustrated books as well. So I'm basically open to just about any type of book, as long as it's appropriate.
So what exactly do you use to make these posters?
So basically making the posters, 99% of them will start off with just one type of book. I will do one book, and I will try and incorporate every single page in it. And then as I start taking it apart, if it's a comic, it's as simple usually as just taking the staples out. When I get into some of the bigger books and stuff like that, the binding's a little harder to get apart, so I'll take an X-Acto knife and go through and start cutting them out page by page. It's a little tedious. But once I get it all taken apart, then I'll typically use the poster frames. And then I'll get the backings off of them, and I'll start staging them. Once I have my stage and my idea laid out, then I have a paper cutter, two different types of tape, regular tape and two-sided tape, and that's pretty much it.
Wow. It's pretty cool, but how much time do you think it takes on average to make one of these?
Ooh, on average is hard to answer. A lot of it depends on the size of it, and there are some of them that are pretty simple. There's some of the kid books that I've taken apart where I'm not worried about, from an artistic standpoint, the color schemes. A lot of times the colors are all the same around them. You get into some of the other pieces, right next to you is a Batman Spawn. That one can take a few hours, something like that. Because I'm trying to be cognizant of the color scheme and the layout. I also do like to try and keep as much of the storyline into it. The pictures can tell a lot of the story, but with comics, graphic novels, the art itself really does tell the story. And if you can do that in the picture, along with keeping it just visually appealing by keeping the color schemes laid out. The longest I've ever taken on one is about 9 hours after I got the book taken apart.
Out of the posters that you have posted around us here, what do you think is the price ranges for these?
Usually most of them, the smallest ones I typically do are about 18 by 24. And those will usually go anywhere from $50 to $75. And some of the bigger ones, like the ones up front, those are actually 2 foot by 3 foot. Those will go anywhere from the $125 up to $250. A lot of it's predicated based on what the price of the book is, some of the material, but also the time to lay some of these out. Some of them do get a little intricate with how I do lay them out.
So like with any other business in town or abroad, do you have a shop that's open up for the public?
I don't have a physical shop yet, but I do have a website. Artelligence.shop is the name of the website. We just opened it up about a month ago. And as we start adding some of the inventory into it, we are starting to look at starting to push it out a little bit more into the Google world. And we're also looking at bridging it in through Amazon and Etsy as well.
Of course. So if anyone wants to get one of these and they want to send in like a special request, for example, how can people get into contact with you?
Well, you can get in contact with me. The best way to do it is actually through my website at artelligence.shop. There's a field in there where you can actually email me through the website, or you can go to, you can just send me an email at artelligence@monkey, which one is it? gmail.com. Had to think about that. artelligence@gmail.com.
All right. So from here on forward, do you have any extra plans for your business in the future?
Tell you what, the sky's the limit. Right now, I absolutely love doing this. There are some other mediums that I am looking at branching out into. I've actually started writing a graphic novel, which actually did take a lot of inspiration from a lot of the books that I've been doing. And I do actually already have an artist lined up that will be doing it with me. So we would like to start getting into that medium as well. But there are some other artists and some people that I've actually started some contact with in the early career of this that I might be doing some partnering with.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very, very much for coming here today. I really appreciate it. This has been M6 Student Connections.
Marysville Roundtable, a discussion on current events, sports, and entertainment.